Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am not here with Geeky Sparkles. She will be back. We're going to talk about something she does not care about, and that is AAA gaming. A lot of people don't care about AAA gaming right now. A lot of people don't care about Ubisoft. Other than the point and laugh, we're going to talk about Ubisoft. They are deciding to go on strike. Yes, the French staff going on strike over the return to office mandate. And this is a company that is burning. This company is burning down in real time. They're probably going to sell themselves off to Tencent. And these guys just put a huge target on themselves. Nothing says fire me like going on strike when your company is burning down. So we're going to talk about this idiotic decision, in my opinion. I think at this point, you'd be better off spending time getting your resumes prepped, because I think a lot of these people are going to be out of work, unfortunately, or fortunately, depends on how you look at it. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Go out to clownfishminus.com, check out our merch, check out our Plus Club. We call it Clownfish Minus just to be contrary, right? This is coming from Fortune, and I have to give a hat tip to Effer Carlson. I don't even know if I can put your username on here, but thank you for the tip. I did not realize that they actually decided to go on strike. We've been talking about it. So yeah, they said workers at video game giant Ubisoft began 3 days of strike action in France on Tuesday in a dispute over home working and pay, hitting a firm already struggling with poor sales and a collapsing share price. Really stupid, really bad timing. Just saying. Titles such as Star Wars Outlaws, Skull and Bones, and Prince of Persia have failed to impress, and the company spooked investors by delaying the latest release of the Assassin's Creed franchise to next year. Yeah, they're sending it back to the kitchen, guys. I think they're going to try to polish the turd as much as they can, but I think they know it's going to be a disaster incoming. It's going to be another disaster. The value of Ubisoft shares have collapsed by more than 40% since the beginning of the year, touching their lowest level in 10 years in September. This week's strike, caused by a September message from management insisting on a return to 3 days, only 3 days, 3 days working in the office for all staff worldwide, follows another walkout in February when hundreds in France joined a dispute over pay. Unions said they had received no response to the grievances aired in February, and that the September message was the straw that broke the camel's back. I cannot pronounce their names. I'm sorry. Is it Clement Montigny of STJV told this is the union, told AFP the move to in-person working broke promises made to staff and calls into question the way they organize their lives. Here's the thing. It's pillow talk, baby, right? Like, they make promises because in an ideal world, they're going to be able to keep those promises. We're not living in ideal times right now, and Ubisoft definitely is on the rocks. They cannot afford to have their people out of office because they're doing God knows what. Probably putting in the bare minimum so we get games like Star Wars Outlaws shipping with all kinds of bugs and problems, you know. Ubisoft managers told staff in an email that returning to the office was vital to foster creativity and promised to give workers time to adjust. They saw around 50 people on a picket line with the Ubisoft offices in Annecy. Lyon and Paris are also expected to be affected. This is stupid. This is really bad timing, guys, because this is coming from Variety. Ubisoft has little choice in a potential Tencent acquisition. This was yesterday. They said they haven't denied reports of the reports that Tencent was considering a buyout of the French publisher. An unexpected Assassin's Creed delay amid poor sales for Star Wars Outlaws plummeted Ubisoft's stock to an all-time low. Tencent already has a stake in the company and is the top earner in games, while Ubisoft's workforce remains unsustainably huge. Again, who's going to get fired first? The guys who refuse to return to office? Probably. I'm just saying. Said after more than a year of extensive layoffs across the global gaming industry, French publisher Ubisoft has stood out as one entity unlikely to sustain the pressure, of cost-cutting and missed sales targets for high-profile games. While not confirmed by either party, October reports that Chinese gaming giant Tencent is considering a buyout of Ubisoft. They've been interpreted as a likely development, prompting Ubisoft to release a statement Monday that the company regularly reviews all its strategic options in the interest of stakeholders. Do you think China is going to be cool with the union? Do you think China is going to be cool with you working at home in your pajamas? You know, drinking your lattes, watching the world go by as the company burns to the ground. You think they're going to be cool with that? I don't think they're going to be cool with that. Call me crazy. I don't. I think the work culture is going to change significantly if China owns Ubisoft. Their biggest stakeholder after its founding family is, of course, Tencent, which owns 10% of the company after the family is it Guillaume? They own 20% of it. Known for specializing in multiple mammoth open world franchises such as Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and the Division, Ubisoft has maintained a vast AAA presence that has grown cumbersome as development cycles for the biggest, most graphically intense games have increased significantly throughout the current console generation. That is not the only problem, Ubisoft. The problem is you're putting out a lot of shit. The problem is you're listening to DI consultants. The problem is you're promising people historical accuracy and then you're like laughing in their faces and you're getting into it with the Japanese. Such a disaster they had with Assassin's Creed Shadows that they actually pulled it from the Tokyo Game Show. And Japan has not been happy with this game. I don't know if Japan's going to be happy with it if the Chinese take it over, but, you know, it's got to be better than where the hell is going on now. They publicly announced to investors in September that upcoming release Assassin's Creed Shadows would miss the November release date and instead bow in September of 2025. I am not convinced this game is going to come out in September. I think it's going to get pushed back again, and they'll probably use this sale or reorganization as a reason why. But the reality is they know if they release it as is, it's going to be a catastrophic fucking failure, and they're going to be a laughingstock. And there's no salvaging the Assassin's Creed brand after that. So I think they're gonna polish it as much as they can. Some people said they're gonna take Yasuke. That's the historically accurate, according to Thomas Lockley, one guy, historically accurate Black Samurai, because there were tons of Black Samurai back then, guys. Don't you know? Don't you read history books? Yeah. So I don't think they're going to take that character out of it, but it is very possible that they diminish his role or they change his story, or they maybe make the main character a character that you can create yourself. And then these other two characters are just kind of like side characters. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Hopefully they'll take the Chinese architecture out of the historically accurate Japanese game while they're at it. Here's their stock. Look at that. Ubisoft cited poor sales in August for Star Wars Outlaws. Remember how people were like, Star Wars Outlaws is doing great, guys. Everybody loves this game. It's just a handful of men who have a problem with this woman's wide-ass face. It's just the bigots and the misogynists and the Nazis who hate Star Wars. The same vocal minority that's been complaining and destroying our franchise since The Last Jedi because we broke their toys and the blah, 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 blah. Right? They released a game, it was fucking dog shit. It was broken. It needed patched on day one. People lost their saves. And yeah, I'm sorry. The main character... she's ugly. She's really, really ugly. There's no reason for her to be that ugly. She looks like a fucking gelfling, okay? There's no reason for her to be that ugly. But that's okay. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Nobody gives a shit about this game. They're not going to be able to save this game. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about Star Wars either. That had a huge role in it, right? Like, the Star Wars brand is damaged. Ubisoft is damaged. Anything with the taint of DEI on it is damaged. And you put all those together and guess what? You get a game that doesn't fucking sell. I mean, this is not hard. This really isn't hard. There are other game studios that are putting games out, they're selling like crazy. They're just giving people what they want. That's all you got to do. Just give people what they want. Give them what they want. Aside from Tencent's existing stake in Ubisoft, one reason to take the report seriously is there frankly isn't any other company equipped to take over Ubisoft's gargantuan workforce of 19,000 people to put out shitty-ass unfinished games at a ridiculous price point. 19,000 people. How many morons does it take to screw in a light bulb? 19,000. Seriously, they could outsource these games to another studio and they'd probably do a better job with them at a fraction of the price. I'm just saying. And they're not going to go on strike because they're going to be contractors. Ubisoft studios and development teams supporting frequent entries in key franchises are so extensive the company has a workforce nearly as big as Microsoft, which presides over three major publishers, Xbox, Bethesda, and Activision Blizzard. However, compliancy with French labor laws means Ubisoft has not cut roles out at the scale of publishing giants Microsoft, EA, Embracer, and Sony Interactive. Well, maybe it's time to sell the company and get the hell out of France. I'm just saying, that is an option. And I think we're going to see a lot of companies do this. I think we're going to see a lot more of these Hollywood studios and game developers move out of California for the same reason, because it's not sustainable. They said Tencent wholly owns League of Legends and Valorant. Entity Riot Games, which eliminated more than 500 roles in 2024. Some of its studio and publishing efforts remains the biggest in the industry. They could absorb it easily. Actually, I could see Riot Games maybe just taking over Assassin's Creed, taking over, some of the stuff that Ubisoft is doing. A lot of what they publish is actually just licensed stuff. Anybody can do that. Per Newzoo's tracking of game-related revenue at a publicly traded companies, Tencent earned $30 billion last holiday quarter, significantly more than console leader Sony at $18.3 billion and Microsoft at $15 billion. Ubisoft was number 17 on the list at $1.9 billion, about the same as its current valuation, so it's only worth $1.9 billion. In terms of investment, the only company acquiring stakes in full studios at that scale is Tencent. Yeah, our Tencent and Saudi Arabia's Savvy Games Group. So basically it would take somebody that big to buy them. Then they go on about Concord and some other really horrible failures. And Ubisoft is effing drowning. I mean, this is just God, it's so weird to watch all of this. All these companies just burn themselves to the ground in, 2-3 years? I mean, AAA has been on the decline for a while, but there's been like one high-profile misfire after another, after another, after another. And everything is going to have to course correct, right? Hollywood and publishing and, video games and all aspects of entertainment need to course correct because you cannot spend the massive amounts of money you've been spending on this stuff only to have people outright reject it for a variety of reasons. It's just not sustainable, right? And meanwhile, you've got independent content creators getting more views, more money, making their own shit with a small team of skeleton crew just themselves. I mean, this is the new reality, right? You don't need a company the size of Ubisoft to put out games that make bank year after year. And I think things are going to change. I hope things change for the better. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later. Join the reef. Go to clownfish-.com. That's clownfish-.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfish-.com. Thank you so much for the support.